Hi there, Michelle here, and welcome back to my channel. And today's video is another Monday vlog. Last week, I was primarily just working on the 6-day star blanket, which I did in 3 days, but that's not really something to brag about because I used super bulky yarn. We'll get into that in this video. I also did go to a few greenhouses with my dad to get some plants for the garden. And on Saturday, me and my sister did a yarn crawl. If you are new to my channel and you like crocheting and yarn and knitting and thrifting and this vibe and the 80s and like all that jazz, then why not hit the subscribe button? If you subscribe to my channel, then you will be up to date with all my latest projects and videos. Let's start off with what happened last week. Monday, me and my dad went to a few greenhouses to get some plants. I really like the little tomatoes, you know, the little cherry tomatoes. I love those so much. I also wanted to get some eggplant because I love making eggplant parmesan. This is my 4 raspberry bushes. I think I originally bought 3 and then 1 multiplied. These here are the beefsteak tomatoes. More of those. Over here we have the cucumbers, and I think this is also a cucumber. And then here we have those tomatoes, the sweet 100s. And what's that back there? A yellow pepper back there. And then this is the tomato sweet million. These are like the little cherry tomatoes. We also got these tomatoes here. They're called tomatoes chocolate sprinkle. I thought they looked neat and that's why we bought them. And then we got the green pepper back there. And then this here is the parsley. This is the eggplant. These are the plants that we bought on Monday. It's so funny because last year I wanted eggplants, but my dad didn't get them, but he thought he did, but what he ended up getting was purple peppers. And I don't know if any of y'all have like had purple bell peppers, but they're really good. When you cook them, they turn green. And we were actually looking to get more of those this year. Unfortunately, the greenhouse that we got it from last year, they decided not to grow them this year. Probably because a lot of people got confused between those and the eggplant. Because when me and my dad went to the greenhouse, the eggplant and the bell peppers were literally right next to each other. You know the little tiny markers that are in plants? Well, it was just an image of a purple plant. So my dad had thought that that was the eggplant. Turns out it was the pepper. It was a happy accident. They were really good. But I wonder about how many people started growing these and realized they were growing peppers and not eggplants. We didn't get any this year. We did end up getting other peppers. Now for crocheting last week, I was finishing a tote bag, which I was able to ship out. And I gotta wait on that because the person I'm shipping to, I'm really hoping that they take like a video of them like opening it or seeing it or whatever, review it, whatever they want to do. And then that way I can add that into my videos. So that project and video are completely done. I just need to film my like outro, but I need them to get it and then I can film the outro. I'm hoping that that all comes together and I'm able to put that video out on this Saturday. And if not, I do have another plan, which we will get into when I talk about what I want to do this week. Also last week, I was working on the 6-day star blanket. It only took me 3 days because I used really bulky yarn. And I did read a lot of your comments. Y'all were saying that you didn't know what to do with your Karen cakes, and a lot of people didn't think you would get that much yarn. I did not think that I was gonna get that much yarn out of that cake. I know it's a big cake. I know there was 1,000 grams, but in my head, I just didn't see it being that big. Now, I did also use a 10mm crochet hook when the recommended size is an 8, but because of that particular pattern, it wanted you to go up half a crochet size that was recommended on the yarn, and then from that size, another 0.5 up from that size. So technically, with the 6-day star blanket, I should have probably been using an 8.5 hook and a 9 hook. Do they even sell an 8.5 hook? Probably somewhere. Is it worth me buying an 8.5 crochet hook? If a pattern asks for that, I'm either going to use an 8 or I'm going to use a 9. I'm not going to get that. So I ended up just going up 2 hook sizes. So I ended up doing a 9 and a 10. And the blanket turned out really big. And in the video, I did tell you how wide it was, but from basically one point to another point was 66 inches across. It's a very big blanket. I kind of like it as a rug. I don't have it as a rug, like it's folded up nicely right now. If I, figure out how to make rugs and I do some type of like backing on it, maybe get a big piece of felt, sew it down to the felt, and then glue that felt onto like a rug bottom, you know what I mean? That'd be kind of neat. Also, I do apologize for freaking y'all out in that intro, but I was stressed and I'm like, y'all should be a little stressed too, because when I originally did my intro, I forgot to turn the audio on the lav mic. It's on now, the little light's on. I made sure I can see the audio levels. Everything is okay now. Oh my goodness. Like when I sat down to edit that video and I'm like, why don't I hear anything? Did I upload it wrong? Is there something wrong with iMovie? I just didn't record the audio. So I do apologize if I scared any of y'all. I thought it was funny. I feel bad now. When I had to refilm the intro, I didn't have the ball of yarn. I didn't have the skein of yarn anymore because I already started the project. And it's the intro. I don't want to show you what I've done so far. You gotta follow along the video to see it happen. So I had to still use the intro that didn't have any audio in it to show you the giant skein of yarn that I had. Hopefully y'all found that funny, because I thought it was pretty funny. 6 Days Star Blanket is done, and if you haven't watched the video, you can watch it here. It actually took me only 11 hours to do this blanket. So I technically could have done this blanket in like 2 days, but I did do it in 3 days. So this past Saturday, me and my sister did the yarn crawl. It has a bunch of yarn stores from like Southern Ontario. 7 yarn stores participated, and basically you get a passport. It's in the house right now, but I'll show a photo of, I'll show it to you. So you get a passport and they stamp it and they initial it that you went to their store. It's still going on. It goes on till June the 30th. So if you are in Southern Ontario and you want to visit these shops, you can still go to the shops and buy the passport. I don't know if all of them still have a bunch of passports. I will list the yarn stores that are participating, so if you want to call ahead and ask if they still have passports. So it's not really going to take a lot of your time, and you don't have to like buy a ton of stuff. I bought a few things from here and there, you know what I mean? It was kind of like local yarn store day again, but the weather was a lot nicer. And my sister was able to go to this one. So basically what you do is you get the passport. It is $5. Then you go to the store, and each store has a different incentive basically. So some stores have 20% off, some stores have 10% off your purchase. One store you got like a mini skein of hand-dyed yarn with your purchase that you could pick out. So me and my sister ended up going to the 5 that were kind of close together. So this was Brantford, Woodstock, St. Mary's, Mitchell, and Stratford. And then there's 2 other ones out. One's in Sarnia and one's close to Sarnia. So we're gonna do those on a separate day because they were so far out. And by the time we were done at all of those shops, it was kind of close to 4. Yarn stores typically close around 4 and 5. So there was no way that we were gonna get down there and be able to go to both the stores. And we left at like 9 in the morning. It was a fun day. I do have a little haul, and I'm going to do the little haul at the end of this video. So that was everything from last week. This week's projects. I'm not 100% sure what video is going to come out. I would love it if I could get out that tote bag video that I keep mentioning to y'all that I like made somebody. We're just going to have to see if they get it in time. If they get the package before Friday, that would be great. If not, I do need to make a backup video just in case. This backup video is something that I would do regardless. It's not like a, oh no, I need to do something, which was kind of like that star blanket, but honestly, I love how that star blanket turned out. Quite happy that I finally got to use that yarn because it was taunting me in my yarn stash because it couldn't go anywhere. It was so big, it wouldn't fit in any of my buckets, because I have other yarns in those buckets, and I just had to keep moving it back and forth for 2 years. And the video is doing quite well. You guys like blanket videos, apparently. This week, I kind of have an idea that I really want to do, and I've wanted to do it for a while now. Because we went to all those yarn stores, I saw this really cute book, and I was thinking about buying it, but I kind of looked at it and saw the idea that I wanted to do, so I didn't buy it because I didn't really care for the patterns inside, but I liked the idea that it was, and that is keychain accessories for your purse or bags or whatever you want to use. I think I really want to do that this week. I haven't done like a small little crochet project. Also, I will be doing some amigurumi. I know I mentioned this in my one video of when y'all asked questions about amigurumi, and it's not that I don't like it, it's just I don't have purpose for the things that you make with that style. Like a lot of it is like stuffed animals and everything like that, and I just don't necessarily need to be making those. However, I really want to make cute little amigurumi keychains with like little beads and letters and just a lot of fun stuff. And I know Michael's has all those beads and accessories and everything, so I think I'll be going to Michael's tomorrow and getting some beads and stuff to make these really cute purse charms. Now, I did make a purse charm last year, and it was Enoch from Over the Garden Wall, because I did make a bigger one for my car mirror, and then I'm like, I really like him. I need to make a smaller one for my purse. So I did that. Really want to make some purse charms this week, but I don't know if like that'll be enough for a video. So I also might be making some car accessories. Enoch is in my car right now, and although I love fall, I kind of want something a little bit more summery, so that way when the fall comes, I can take him out again and, you know, appreciate it more. I do like switching things up for the seasons, even though summer is not my favorite season. Still like to switch things up. I'm kind of thinking maybe making like fuzzy dice. I've always wanted dice in my cart, and I know I could buy them at Canadian Tire and they're like $6, but I kind of want to crochet them. But then I'm also thinking, what about like crocheting Rubik's Cubes? Because I love Rubik's Cubes. Last summer, I'm like, I am determined to learn how to do a Rubik's Cube. And then I did it. This one's just in the back. It is the 50th anniversary Rubik's Cube. Has this gold side instead of the yellow side. Unfortunately, like, it's not the smoothest. I like a smooth Rubik's Cube. I do have one Rubik's Cube where it's all black, but it is touch sensitive. So the more you work on it, the colors start lighting up with the heat of your fingers. Followed some tutorials on YouTube on how to solve Rubik's Cubes, and then I did it, and now I'm obsessed with them. But I'm kind of thinking maybe Rubik's Cube squares instead of dice, like one that's all mixed up and then like one that is normal. I just have to kind of figure out how I would crochet that. That is something that I've wanted to do for a while. So maybe I'll do a video of just like crocheting cute accessories for your car, for your bags, whatever, right? And it just depends on when that other video can come out. If the bag video can come out this week, then I will push that video or the accessory video to the next week. And if not, then I'll switch them up. At least I have something going. Because that bag video is already done, I need to do something during the week. I can't do nothing. So that takes me to another project that I really want to do. It is the Tulsa Tee by Rebecca Clow. A lot of y'all suggested that to me, and I really like it. Although I do notice like the neckline is a little bit out. I feel like I could bring that in a bit. I just wanted a simple in the round t-shirt for the summer, but I want to do it in a pink and a red. There is yarn that I think I'm going to use from Central Pearl, and Stephanie gave me a little ball of yarn. Like, it was the yarn that she suggests that I should use for this project. So I do need to knit myself a little gauge swatch just to see if it is the yarn that I want to use. And I think I'm going to do that today because I don't really have anything else to work on today. Again, like, yes, I do want to make those little accessories. I want to get the supplies for them first before I figure out what I'm making it. I think I definitely want to make a duck though. That is what I want to do this week. I'm also hoping maybe to get back into the camper and do a little cleaning. I know I say this in every single Monday vlog. I want to clean the camper, and then it just doesn't happen. It just doesn't happen. So maybe this week will be the week. It is a lot more tidier. I had to tidy it up the other day because I needed to use my sewing machine, but there are some like blankets and stuff that I gotta figure out where to put them. I think I need to buy like those vacuum seal bags, but like good ones. I remember I bought some from the Dollarama. They slowly leaked air in and they didn't really do what I needed them to do. We've talked about what I did last week, what I'm doing this week, and now we're going to talk about future projects. So I know I was talking about the knitted tee. I don't know if I'm going to start it this week or next week. It just all depends on the yarn. The big project that I really need to focus on in the next month is my Stranger Things blanket that I want to make, because Stranger Things is turning 10 years old next month. So I believe it was July the 15th, 2016 when it first aired. I have been obsessed with it ever since, and I love the show so much. I need to make something grand for this project. Like, I can't just do a little project. I need something monumental to show my love and dedication to the show. One of the ideas that I was kind of thinking about was maybe making like Joyce's wall, but I did already make a pillow of Joyce's. So if you don't know I always mention this and it's always in my video. So if you ever wonder, what is this pillow doing here? It is Joyce's wall from Stranger Things. And if you're not familiar with Stranger Things, she's trying to communicate with her son in the Upside Down, and she hangs a bunch of Christmas lights up and she puts letters underneath each light. He can like touch the light and communicate with her. Originally it was supposed to be a tote bag, made a little too big, so it's a pillow. And then I was kind of thinking about maybe making just a plain blanket that just said the logo Stranger Things. And then I was kind of thinking about making Mike Wheeler's house, but I have decided that I am actually going to make a map of Hawkins. Now this is not going to be an accurate map. This is not going to be a to scale map. It is basically just going to be a blanket with all the houses and places that they adventure in the 5 seasons of Stranger Things. And this is going to be a big tapestry project. I think I will be using probably 4-weight medium acrylic yarn because I also want it to be a stash busting project, and I want to use as much yarn that I already have for the buildings and everything. Now, I will probably have to buy a background color, which I'm still not 100% sure yet. My sister thinks that I should do a green backdrop, represents grass or the land, but that I'm kind of thinking I should do like a beige one, kind of like the clock that I did. It's also a Stranger Things clock. Beige background, and then have all the stores in it. I just haven't really thought about it, because then she said that eventually I could make like the upside down version, which would be everything in the same place except the colors would be more grays and blues and like muted. I don't think I want to do different colors. Like my idea is I'm going to have like, downtown Hawkins. So we'll have like the schools, we'll have the arcade, like the police station, the general store that Joyce works at. Like I'll have those, but do I want to put the background gray for concrete, like asphalt kind of thing? Or do I just want to do the whole thing in like a green color? I'll put the photo here of the green color that I'm kind of thinking of. I think it would look really good. I still have some time to like think about it because I still have to design it, but I need to start working on it very soon because I need to get it out like this Saturday. That's let me just check. Okay, I can work with that. The day that Stranger Things came out, I believe, was July the 15th. July the 15th this year falls on a Wednesday. So either I can put out the video before the anniversary or after the anniversary. I think it just all depends on how fast I can get this blanket done. But that's kind of good because then that kind of gives me like wiggle room. Like if I get it done early, then I can put it out early. If I can't get it out early, then I can put it out the week after. But I really want to get it done that middle week of July. Like those middle weeks of July, I need to get it done. And currently it is the first week of June right now. Well, it's going into the second week of June right now. So I still have some time, but I really need to focus on that. So I think like today, I'm probably going to do a little bit of knitting just to get that gauge swatch going and keep planning out the map. Let me know what color you think I should make the background of the map. Should I make it one like beige color? Should I make it all green? Let me know y'all's opinions in the comments because maybe someone will have a really good idea and I'll be like, I didn't even think of that. So that is my future project that I really want to get done, and this blanket is going to be a pretty big blanket. It's not going to be a small blanket. I'm not making a lap blanket. I want to make a big blanket, okay? Like I know that's a lot to take on. I also really want to get as much detail as I possibly can into the houses and into the buildings. So if it's smaller, they're going to be like little squares and no one's going to know what they are. But the bigger the blanket, the more detail I can get in. And I know normally I say when I do my tapestry projects, I like to use like the Hayfield DK weight yarn. Not for this one. This is going to be a big blanket and I need to use thicker yarn. So I'm definitely thinking of like, the loops and threads, impeccable yarn, stuff like that. And I know I have a ton in my yarn stash. So that's my thing is the more yarn I can use from my stash, the better, but I will have to buy the background color because I don't have any color that is enough for that. That is where I am at this very moment. Let's get into the yarn crawl, and I'll start off with the places we went to yesterday. And now time for the yarn haul. Now my sister was really good. She had an idea. She wants to make like this scrappy cardigan, I think, or a dress. I think it's a cardigan she wants to make. She was very intentional at buying a yarn from each place that would work with her overall idea. Me, on the other hand, I didn't have an idea going in, and I know I should have, so I just bought a bunch of random things. When I look at the things I bought, I kind of have an idea of what I want to do with them, so it's okay. The first place me and my sister went to was the Yarn Barn Cafe. The shop was really adorable. It was a little bit smaller, but it had a great atmosphere, and the owner was very, very nice. It was so nice going to that shop. The only thing is that we kind of got a little confused of where it was. So it was kind of interesting getting there, but once you were, that area was just like very kind of like, I don't know, it felt like a little tiny downtown in the middle of like an alley. That's the only way that I can describe it. But the first thing that I ended up picking was this here. It is a egg stitch marker. Okay, I don't know, I love breakfast. I think breakfast is probably my favorite meal of the day. I also love pizza. If I had to pick one meal of the day to eat, it would be breakfast. I love it. I will eat breakfast for dinner. And so when I saw this little egg stitch marker, I knew I had to get it. And then I ended up buying this here. It is a little organizer box. I thought it was perfect because let me tell you, even though I have a great system of somewhat being organized, needles and stitch markers go missing all the time. Really wanted to have something that I could take with me. This is what it looks like, and it's magnetized. So it's magnetic. It almost to me feels like a pill organizer. This opens up. We got two little drawers down there. We got these here. I think this one here should have just been one solid one instead of two more little things. This will be great to put stitch markers in, needles. Also, I think I probably could put my BWA hooks in here, the ones that I'm currently not using for a project. And I can take this with me and put it in my crochet pouch. I need something that will keep things organized. I know how to be organized, but I don't have the tools to be organized. I feel like this is definitely gonna help me with that. After that one, we ended up going to the Thoughtful Artisan. I also should say that I haven't been to any of the stores but the Thoughtful Artisan, and I went there for the first time during local yarn store day back at the end of April, and that is actually the store that I bought the passports at. And so I ended up buying this. I know I don't really use a lot of blue colors, but I think blue looks good on me, and I probably should buy more blue things. This here is from A Wanderer and her wool. It is called the Dreamer Lace. It is 70% kid mohair and 30% silk. There is 473 yards and 50 grams. It is lightweight, and I believe the color on this is called Icelandic Waters. It's so pretty, so this would be something that I would mix with another yarn that would look like this. And I know they actually did have like a DK weight yarn, I think, with the same brand, and it was kind of like the same color too. This was $30, I know, but like good quality yarn does cost a little bit more. I know we still have to go to 2 more yarn stores, so if they have this brand at one of those stores, maybe I'll buy it then. Now this one here, I am definitely thinking about making another Sophie scarf in the fall time or whatever. I think this would look so cute. I did actually make a Sophie scarf. Oh, you know what? I bought a really pretty purple yarn from Hello Stella from the Fiber Forge event in Hamilton in March. I think this and that would look so good together. I'm not too sure where it is right now. I think it's in one of my buckets, but it's behind a bunch of things. So I just don't want to get it out right now. But I think maybe those two together, like pair that with that. That would look so good. Okay, I'll have to think about that. But anyways, I got that from the store because we drove all the way out there and it was my sister's first time in the store. She was very nice and she gave us these little cardinal needle stoppers. I'm pretty sure the cardinal is on her logo, but they're so cute. And you know how much I love birds, okay? I love birds. Yeah, she gave us these for free, which is so nice of her. And I love good needle stoppers, especially cute ones and especially bird ones. The next store that we went to was Crafts by McPherson, and it was the Canadian yarn. If you have a phobia of dolls, probably not the store you want to go into. The store was pretty much 50% dolls and 50% yarn and craft supplies and everything else. Was not expecting it, okay? Like when I think of a yarn store, I don't think of realistic babies staring at me while I buy yarn. To each their own. If that's your thing, they got a lot. They got a lot of them. The yarn that I picked up there was this here, and this is actually their own dyed yarn, which I think is so great, and I love supporting local dyers. That's the yarn right there, Canadian Yarns, and it is 100% Ontario wool. It is a bulky weight 3-ply, approximately 110 grams, and it is hand dyed. This color here is called Peach Sorbet. And look how pretty it is. It's like the pinks and the oranges that I absolutely love. Because it is like real wool, it is very scratchy. What I like about these is I like to make cup cozies because they keep my hands warm from like an ice cap, and it also helps it if I'm driving. The ice cap is not dripping on me because this absorbs the condensation on the outside of the cup. I like using these to make cup cozies. Also at that store, I did buy these little strawberry needle stoppers. I've never seen them look like this. Like, they're very chunky. I usually just see like the flat ones, but when I saw these, I'm like, yeah, I need them. They are so cute. And then while I was there, at the very front of the store, they had a bead bin.
Beads.
Bees?
Beads.
Beads?
You could fill a bag for $2, and these are the beads that I got. Maybe I will use some of these beads for the crochet accessories that I want to make. We'll have to see, but these beads are just so 90s. And that's why I bought them. Like, they remind me of beads that I would use as a child if I was making something. And I stuffed this bag. I asked her to, I'm like, fill it up like all the way. She's like, yes. I had to take some beads out of how much I stuffed it, and I couldn't zip it up. The next store we went to was Songbird Yarn, Songbird Fibers. Songbird Yarn and Fibers. She was very lovely. This was a smaller yarn store. Like, I mean, you walk in and you're in the store, and that is about it. But it's because she basically just sells what she dyes. Her store was kind of the place where she does all of her dyeing. That's kind of the idea that I got. And then all the yarns that she makes, she sells in her store. And what's fun about her store, every yarn is based on a bird. You know me, how much I love birds. A yarn that is based on birds, I love it. Now, I did ask if she had a mallard duck, and she said no. Well, she did have, can't remember what duck she said, but it was like the female and the male duck in sock weight yarn. So you could make 2 socks. So you'd make like the male colors of a sock and then the female colors of the sock of like the duck, which I thought it was really neat. I'd like to get into sock making, just not yet, okay? But if she ever makes a mallard duck yarn color, I will 100% buy it. It also took us a little while to find her store because it was like in one of those like strip malls, but a small one that had like a convenience store and a few other stores, and hers was like tucked away on the corner. And because of how she put her logo on the door, it was in black text, so I really couldn't read the door. But if it wasn't for the giant sign that said yarn, I don't think we would have found the place, to be honest. But she was very lovely, and I really love the store. So let me show you the yarn I got there. This yarn here. Each of her yarns is associated with a bird. Can anybody guess what bird this is? It's like brown, beiges, some pinks in there. Would you guess it's a turkey vulture? I got the turkey vulture yarn. Like, I see them all the time, and I love the colors. It's browns and pinks, and you know, browns and pinks are totally early 2000s, right? But because there wasn't a duck, I went with the turkey vulture. There are facts about the birds on the yarn label. I love bird facts. So it says here, one of few birds with a heightened sense of smell, turkey vultures are often seen in teetering fights, gliding on thermals, or hopping along a roadside. As a carrot is their main diet, their featherless head is well adapted for sticking it into dead things. They are truly the cleanup crew of the bird world. For more info, please visit ebird.org. So you can get more bird facts. This yarn here is a bulky, and it is 80% superwash merino and 20% nylon. And there's about 115 grams in this. I thought it was so fun that there's a turkey vulture one, because when you think of birds, your mind never goes to turkey vultures. They go to ducks and geese and little cute birds that are eating little seeds on the ground. You never really think of a turkey vulture. So I thought that was really fun. And this store here gave out a free mini skein with purchase if you're doing the yarn crawl. And this one here is called DK Nesting. It is a DK weight mini. And there's about 30 grams in here. Then when we were checking out, she did give me and my sister a little stitch marker. They're more for like knitting because they have the little hoop, but I can switch that out really easily. If you can see it without the light kind of glaring on it. It is a feather, and what is so funny, she gave me a purple and blue feather, and she gave my sister this feather here with the browns and oranges. And as soon as we got in the car, I was like, what feather did you get? And she pulled out this one, and then I showed her mine, and then we swapped, which is so funny because our colors are completely different. We'll usually swap if we like the other person's color better, which is very true because I can't see my sister using this one here with like the browns and oranges. That's me. The one I got was like purples and blues, which is totally her. And then we went to the last shop, which was the Itty Bitty Yarn Co. in Mitchell. There, I ended up buying these ice cream stitch markers by Fox and Pine Stitches. I have actually bought stitch markers from them in the past, and I think I got like cute little cat ones. But I saw these ones here, and although like if you can see the top, it is like that rounded kind of enclosure or whatever. And it's more for like knitting markers because as you're knitting, you're going around and you're moving your markers around. Not so much for crochet. But I saw these and I'm like, I kind of want to make them into earrings. I have a bunch of those little clasps that you can use for your stitch markers, but also for earrings. And you know me, if I can use a stitch marker as an earring or an earring as a stitch marker, I am sold. And can you imagine this is cute little earrings for the summer? Okay, like I know I'm not the biggest fan of summer, but I gotta make it somewhat whimsical-ish, you know? And if I can wear ice cream as earrings, sign me up. And then at this place, I did buy a tote bag. I got this one here, and it says, in my knitting girl era. This bag might look familiar to y'all because it is by Pine and Pearl, and it's the same place that I bought my Heated Rivalry tote bag from. And the bag was only $25. For a bag like this for $25, I think is a pretty good price. First off, I use my Heated Rivalry tote bag all the time. Not to be confused with the one I made. But inside, you get 2 pockets, and the outside, you get a pocket here to put like your water bottle or something like that. It's a good size tote bag. Again, I use the other tote bag that I bought from her all of the time. So I think if I'm going to be doing a knitting project, I will use this as my knitting tote bag. I don't actually have a dedicated knitting tote bag. I mean, I can use a tote bag for whatever. There's no dedicated ones, but I now have one that I can just strictly use for my knitting projects because I want to do a knitting project soon. And then I do want to show one thing that I ended up getting last week at Yarn Club from Central Pearl. Unfortunately, she was not part of that. I think they just kind of kept it in like the same area, but they did say that they're hoping to expand next year. But anyways, the other day I did end up getting this. It's ducks. It's ducks. And it is a tape measurer. There's also a whole duck collection. You can get a little bag, you can get a tote bag, I'm pretty sure, you can get some tins. There's so many, and it's from that, oh my goodness, there's a baby duck and he's yellow because he's a baby. Do you see him? Oh, I love him so much. But I'm always losing these. And it's so cute. It's so cute. And it's also like really good quality. It's not like this cheap plastic or anything. Like it's a nice material. And they're called Dapper Ducks. But I just wanted to show you this because it was also in my bag so I wouldn't forget. I really liked this yarn crawl. It was really fun. We do still have 2 more to go, which will be probably near the end of the month. But we do have to get it done before June the 30th because you have to take a photo of your passport that has your name and your phone number and you send it to the email that is on the passport, and then you can be entered into some draws. And I think that is so cool, and I really hope they do it again next year because although I love local yarn store day, it's just a lot of people show up for that day. A lot of people go to their local yarn stores and they spend like the whole day there, which is amazing. I love it, you know, support local yarn stores, but it's always so busy. Whereas doing this, you can go on your own time. There's no set date you have to go. You just got to go by a certain date, you know, so you can like enter into the draw. You get discounts, you meet new people, you meet new shops. So me and my sister were at the one shop. I met these 2 lovely ladies that were also doing the yarn crawl, and they were coming out from Sarnia and going this way, and we were going that way. When you'd go into the shop, the owners were like, are you here for the yarn crawl? So it was really neat because it was like a community of people who love yarn. It doesn't matter if you knit, crochet, or any hobbies. It was just a fun experience. In the comments below, please let me know what y'all are working on this week. I always love reading and seeing what you guys are working on, and I really love hearing what y'all are doing. I think that does it for this video, so y'all have a good day now.